How do we feel? Still excited. So, good to have you, Mārtiņš, over here. Could you give a bit of a background about Mintos? Like, I think you're one of the silent success stories where people don't know actually that much about you.
Sure, happy to. I think in the early days we didn't attend any conference, so only now we start to attend any, right? So what we do, we really bring a new way of investing to investors, individual investors, everyday people. We are marketplace for investing in loans. That means that individual investors can come on our marketplace, pick and choose, loan by loan basis, from 34 different countries, the specific loans, invest, and then earn capital on their investment.
How big is the company now?
So one of the many metrics which you can look at, right, at the size of the company. So today we are, when we are looking at team-wise, and we are 200 people in total. Main office is here in Riga. Very happy to be based here out of Riga. But then we, this year, opened an office in Berlin, and then in Vilnius, and then in Warsaw. So today we are 4 offices, 200 people. When we look at the financials, which is perhaps something which startups don't talk that much, but we've been revenue generating since day one. So last year we closed with 10 million of revenue. And then today we are also on the size-wise. Third aspect is fundamentals, what we do. So in total, investors have funded 5 billion of euros through the marketplace. So I dumped you a lot of numbers.
Yeah, the millions and billions are there. That's super cool. I'm always fascinated about the culture, and so you are, as a founder, you have experienced going from couple people to 200. How that changes or impacts the culture? Or when do you start to think about the culture?
I think deep down you start to think, at least myself, I started to think from day one, if you ask me. So it was a fantastic experience, and it continues to be a fantastic experience. My previous experience with leading the people was my team of one analyst in investment banking days, so that was my experience with leading any teams, right? So I've been always fascinated by the people side, and I invested a lot of time in early days and continue to invest a lot of time on the people matters. And culture is obviously, it's not, I don't know, having the same, what they say, like ping pong tables and all this stuff, or dogs in the office, or free food and meditation and whatnot. So it's more about the things, how you do. So the culture is what you do, right? So I actually suggest reading the Ben Horowitz's latest book on that, pretty good. And it's actually, I totally agree. It's the culture is what you do, and those things have developed since early days, how we do certain things in the way we do them.
Can you share some of the tips and tricks and maybe values, and what are the things you do the Mintos way?
I think the key for us has been growth mindset, for sure. This willingness to pursue growth and learning, both on personal level and on professional level. And that's, at the end of the day, people, when people say that the company is a reflection of the founders, it's obviously also, in our case, the same. So I think it's one of the values or things which I exhibit as a growth mindset, myself personally. And that's also in the company. So growth mindset is by far the biggest one. Then there's transparency. From day one, we've been super transparent, what we do, what we're gonna do. And there's no other way, actually, when you deal with money. So one of the things which builds trust is transparency. So we have to be transparent with outside clients as well. But likewise, we've been super transparent what we do and what we're going to do. So everything we publish, we have all hands meetings since day one. We have it, we continue to have them every 2 weeks and share what we do. And that's also a big value of Mintos.
So when did you formalize your way or the values? Like when you were a couple people, or when you got into several dozens?
Well, when we were a couple of people, obviously, we were doing some other
What's
stuff.
your culture, Friday beer?
Yeah, it's more, I mean, we were very much focusing on the product and building a great product and getting out to the customers and this culture. Well, you have it in mind, you obviously build it, but you don't, I mean, in the early days, you don't spend the week formalizing, at least us. I know for sure companies which do that, we didn't. So we did it fairly late. So I would say when we were about, today we are 200 people. So we did it when we were about 50 people. And that helped tremendously actually to scale from the same 40, 50 people to 200 people. And we scaled actually the team last year from 60 to 200 people. And then actually this culture background helped a lot. But also what we realized is that the culture is additive. So all the people who join Mintos, they add something. So if you go in Mintos today, so actually, how much is it? It's 2/3 of the people are with us for less than a year. So we are now actually re-describing the culture. So what I believe is the culture, you can of course influence that, but you cannot really kind of put on paper and define, okay, this is who we are. What you can do, and you should, is to describe what you are and put it on paper so that people, especially at certain scale, so a lot of things you have to put on paper. You cannot just go in the room and say, well, this is what we do.
So the culture is kind of the soft part. This is our way, these are the values. But there are more practical things, how you organize the daily work. Are you using some systems?
I would say a lot, most likely. So all the company is built around the idea of lean startup, actually. And this is one of the books which we give to all the newcomers at the part of the welcome kit. The other one is Make Time, on the time management, which I think is very important quality, which not many people are taught in school or in any other ways in life. So, but when it comes to how we run on day-to-day basis, so it's 2-week sprints across the company. So that's also
OKRs?
The same. So those I can talk a bit later. But in general, from day one, it's been like a very sprint-like attitude and agile attitude, and it's been doing more of the things which like experimenting all the time, and then doing more things which work, and then dropping those which don't work. And that's been from day one, and we continue to do that till this day. So the sprint, we have actually 2-week cadence tied to the all-hands meeting, so it's rather kind of structured throughout the company. And then in some of the things, obviously, so what you mentioned, OKRs, which stands for Objectives and Key Results, is something which we introduced this year. It was a lot of learnings, and we still
200 people.
Yeah, well, basically, it's the thing that worked when you are a smaller team doesn't work when you are like much bigger team, because alignment is something which you have to constantly invest in, and you need those goal-setting frameworks.
So quick question to the audience. How many of you don't know what are OKRs, Objective Key Results? Okay, so that's Google it up. But basically, Objectives Key Results, it's a cool, it's a really practical way how to set the goals for the team and communicate what we should do. Did I say it right?
Almost. Well, in practical terms, how it works, at least how we have adopted, so you can of course adopt it in many different ways. We do objectives, company-wide objectives. So we sit down. So this is our 5 objectives for 2020, for instance. Then we put what's going to be key results, which are basically the way to measure that we reach this objective. And then we put initiatives, what we're going to do to actually make progress on those key results. And OKRs has been a tremendous help in aligning the company and being very mindful in what we do, and what is more important, especially when you scale, what you don't do. Because the more people you get on the team, the more you can actually see, okay, there's opportunity, I could do this or that, but the focus is like the super important in your journey. And OKRs help in that a lot.
How do you set them on practical level? Do you use some software?
We do offsite meetings, so we do offsite meetings with extended management team where we discuss, okay, what we believe is important for the next year. And then out of those, we get the objectives. So for instance, for 2020, we have clear 5 objectives which we want to achieve. And then we do, using the tools you have the tools for visualizing the progress of the OKRs. Then we use the same Asana to assign initiatives. Well, on a very practical level, it actually gets to very nitty-gritty details of day-to-day work.
So then the next is, okay, let's set the goals and this is the way how we're going to measure it. Next is communicating throughout the organization. So org charts and how you do the communication.
Yeah, communication is always fun. So because communication, especially as a CEO, so you feel like you are repeating the same thing like every day, every hour. So and you have to find ways to make it interesting for yourself as well, because you have to communicate the same message. And the thing is, what I have learned in our journey is that you cannot over-communicate at all. So the moment you think that you have communicated the message, repeat it 10 more times, because most likely still not all the people gonna sort of get the same idea. What you have in mind is not gonna transfer to the people. So communication is a big part. And the org chart comes into play big way. So we spent a lot of time actually, and we were very late. I think we were discussing, yes, we should get the org chart, but well, we know all who is who and who is working for.
And that's so corporate.
Yeah, it's like corporate. Like, why would you want to do that? So we were discussing it. I remember like 50, 60 people. Oh, let's maybe do the org chart. I think we introduced it at 110 people, 120. When we finally put, and then actually those guys reported this, and this actually would make sense actually to reorganize a bit. So we spent actually also reshuffling the teams and org chart. As corporate as it sounds, it's actually super valuable. Just put it on paper. Everybody knows who is who. And again, you can actually have a pretty good tools now these days to visualize it in a very nice way.
And it's like, oh, we have this kind of department. Whom they are reporting to? No one.
Well, that's actually not a problem. So we have from early days we have a very engaging onboarding process. So for the first few months, we put specific checklist what we're going to do, and one of those things which we do, we explain to all the newcomers which teams do what, and then also myself, I do what we call newcomers lunch. So with all the newcomers, I actually, I think these days, every week or every second week, I have a lunch with 5 up to 10 people, just discussing any questions they are.
One-on-ones?
This is on the newcomers, but one-on-ones is, again, separate. So there's a lot of tools. So if you actually dig deeper, there's a lot of tools which we use. The same one-on-one, so one of the things which we do is there's at least monthly one-on-one for everyone. There should be at least monthly one-on-one with their direct manager.
Any failures across these topics? The culture, the OKRs, the org chart? Communication.
You name them. You name them. And it's a lot. I mean, obviously, so you learn. And I think the thing which we are missing here in in Europe actually, but more so in the Baltics and more so in Latvia, is that there's only that many companies which are ahead in the journey before you. So in most of the cases, we didn't have much.
No one to look up.
To ask, like, how do you do that specific? So of course you can read what they do in Silicon Valley or in Berlin or London. But it's different environments. So I remember us introducing, so we do stock options to all the employees. I think I spent like a month just thinking how you can do them in this specific environment and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and just talking with the people outside of the ecosystem. But unfortunately, we don't have that many product-based tech companies here which are at certain stage. So a lot of learnings. Be it about the same structure of the company, be it about the goal setting, the same communication, so you name it. So what I would say that the most important is that you make a lot of decisions. Hopefully, majority of decisions are right, and then minority is wrong. So it could be other way around, but I think for us, hopefully the majority of decisions have been right when we look back. But plenty of wrong decisions, so inevitably.
So what's in your mind now? What's on your OKR list for now, and what's in your mind for the next 5 months, a year?
As a company?
Yep.
It's fairly actually straightforward. So this year we are working on expanding the business significantly. So we're looking to between doubling and tripling the business this year, and then we are working on actually. So we got a lot of people in on the team, right? So we scaled from 60 people to 200. There's a lot of new teams which didn't exist even 6 months. So this year we are working on high-performing culture, so really putting in place the structures and communication tools so that everybody knows what they have to do, they have the accountability, they know the goals and so forth. So working on that part, and then working on the risk part as well. So as you get bigger, so you of course spend more time on all the compliance risk and so forth.
200 employees and the staggering growth in this short time period. Where do you find people?
Everywhere, everywhere. So we established a people team. I think a year ago we had exactly 0 people in people team. So today it's 8 people are on the people team, 7 or 8 people. They do the fantastic job, like really fantastic job. Then we do what is the best is obviously the referrals. Like employee referrals is a big part of our strategy when it comes to recruiting. We appear on the conferences much more than we did a few years ago. Then we do, of course, we engage headhunters where necessary. And then we do a lot of direct sourcing. So my favorite app or favorite website is LinkedIn. So I spend a lot of time on that.
Premium account?
Actually, so yeah, premium account, because at some moment, so when they say it's all unlimited, on LinkedIn, if you click a lot on different people, they say, actually it's not unlimited, so you should get a premium account. I didn't know that, so it's,
I have experienced
yeah,
that.
it's the same as with mobile phone. So it's unlimited to the moment when they call you and say, it's actually not unlimited, so don't abuse the system.
So
Yeah,
you're
premium.
still pretty much look for employees yourself.
We do, including myself personally as well. So with other co-founder, other Mārtiņš, we do fit interviews. So we interview each and every candidate which gonna join us. So either me or him. Initially, I wanted to do it myself. Realized, okay, I spend
Scaling problems.
a bit too much time on that. So now we do we divide between us. So yeah, for sure. So we are very much involved, and we're gonna continue to be involved. And this year as well, so we continue actually hiring a lot. So if you're looking for a great job on something which is new, which is global, and when you have a great culture and people around, then Mintos, I guess, is a very great opportunity. So this year we are looking to grow the team from 200 to something like 300, 350 people.
So what are the people you are looking for?
Growth mindset. So growth mindset is a big part. So definitely looking for the growth mindset. And then the other stuff is more specific to the specific roles. So today we hire anything from super junior people to very experienced people. We hire across the board from engineering and product to sales, marketing. We hire in Vilnius, we hire in Berlin, in Riga. So it's across the board. But
what are the roles you're looking for now? Maybe someone in the crowd. Who's looking for a job?
I think we have about 40 open positions, 40 open positions. So it's basically all sorts of roles.
40 positions, that's a lot. So any thoughts to conclude from your side?
On what topic?
So what would be the one thing you want them to leave and think about?
In life?
Actually, well, as a founder, you know that at one point there is no company in your life. It's just like it's the thing I do.
I think the one thing which I would leave everybody with is, and that's the same what actually I say to all the newcomers, you're gonna work on hopefully great product, you're gonna do a lot of great stuff. It's also gonna be obviously challenging and so forth, but the most important is to enjoy the process so that you actually like what you do, because at the end of the day, after whatever, like 10, 15, 20 or whatnot years, you're gonna remember only the people with whom you worked with. You're not gonna remember like millions, billions and whatnot, so you're gonna remember, and I think that it is very important just to enjoy what you do, and I think that applies very well also to the life, so just enjoy what you do.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Thank you, Mārtiņš.
Thank you.